For the last several months, my favorite beer style has been a juicy or New England style IPA. I can't find a whole lot of recipes, so I made my own. And I can't find a lot of that style beer in my local stores. It's just starting to catch on here and there. I got a couple local breweries, Big Oyster Brewery, Third Wave Brewery are my only two local breweries, and they just did release that style beer within the last week or two. So it's just starting to catch on. Don't have a whole lot of selection. I'm gonna go ahead and brew one today. I don't know how it's gonna turn out. I've done a lot of research on it, so fingers crossed, let's see how it goes. It's called the Backyard Juice Bomb, and you can see the malt bill as well as the hops that I'm going to use. I have the heater going in the background, that's why it's so loud. But I have the water heating up for our mash in, and I'm going up to 175 because everything is a little cooler than what it accounted for in Beersmith. Got about 3 gallons of water. We're going to pump that over there as soon as it's up to temp, and then we'll mash in. Okay, so I got the mash water heated up to about 182. Now I have a hose going from the water that I heated up to the pump, and then from the pump into the mash tun. So as soon as we get the mash tun heated up, we'll go ahead and mash in, as well as heat up our sparge water. And this is our American 2-row. This is our milled North American white wheat. And our torrefied wheat. And our flaked oats. A very thick mash. So we have a 50-minute mash, and it's been 30 minutes. One thing I like to do for the last half of the mash is I like to recirculate the mash. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the intake hose off my pump, and I'm going to put it on the mash tun. I'm going to open that valve up just a little bit, and I'm going to start letting that tube fill up. And then I'm going to recirculate this very slowly. Okay, so we're 50 minutes into the mash. Now it's time to go ahead and take the first runnings and put them into the boil kettle. And since I've been recirculating at a very slow rate, I don't need to do the boil off because it's already been done as I'm doing the recirculating. So we'll just go ahead and shut the pump down, switch the hoses up, and start pumping into the boil kettle. So this hose from the mash tun to the intake of the pump. And this hose is going to go into the intake of the boil kettle. We'll open that valve. So what you want to do is you want to open the valve to the mash tun, let the wort drain down into the pump, turn the pump on just for a second, and then crack the outlet valve. All right, so it's time to go ahead and sparge. about 8.5 gallons of water, and I'm batch sparging. So 2.85 gallons of water at 168 degrees. So I've got my intake to the pump line with the valve fully open, and the outlet is going to the top of the mash tun, and we're going to go ahead and plug that in, and then open the valve a little. We should be getting some flow, and we are. We've been sparging for about 20 minutes, and I've been recirculating through the sparge. So now I'm going to cut the pump on the recirculation and go ahead and hook it up to the boil kettle and get our boil going. It's 10 after 5. We've started the boil. We have a 1 hour boil. We're only putting hops in at 10 minutes before the boil's over. 10 minutes prior to the boil being over, we'll go ahead and add that 1 hop addition. We got just under 6 gallons. I'm gonna try to get a nice vigorous boil going once I can get past this break. 10 minutes left in the boil. We're gonna go ahead and add the 1 hop addition that we're gonna add in the boil, and that is 1 ounce of Cascade. We're gonna do this very slowly. All right, so the boil is over. It's been an hour. We're gonna cut the flame. And I've got my wort chiller in there. But right now we're gonna go ahead and start a whirlpool as we add our hops. Let's get her swirling. And the first hop in is gonna be our Mosaic, 1 ounce. Next hop in is the Pacifica. And that's gonna be 1 ounce. Next hop is 1 ounce of Amarillo. Next hop is 1 ounce of Galaxy. And one of my favorites, 1 ounce of Citra. And we're gonna keep that whirlpool for about 20 minutes. It's been close to 20 minutes, so I'm gonna go ahead and start to water through the wort chiller. I'm gonna ferment in the fermentosaurus, and I've got a gravity hose set up to go into it. And we're just gonna open the valve. Everything's been sanitized. Starting gravity at 1.07. Now we're going to aerate the wort. Now we're going to pitch our yeast. This is a yeast starter that I had. This is a 1 liter yeast starter of London Ale 3. So there's our trub. I have not dumped it. This will be the first time, and I'll tell you why in a minute. As you can see, the rest of it's all sitting on the bottom there. And there's our backyard juice bomb. My controller, which is giving me problems because of this little connection. Got a very small little low heat air heater in there. It does the job really well when power's going to it. And the probe is down in the glass of water. Right after the brew, we had a massive Arctic blast of cold air just come down and just set in. And for us on Delmarva, below zero wind chills and single digit temperatures, we're just not used to that. So that really made things rough. The third day, or it was actually the third night of the fermenting process, my controller, whenever that little connection feels like it sometimes, it just goes to error. When it goes to error, if it's the summertime, it will no longer let the signal pass through. So it'll no longer cool or it'll no longer heat. So the temperature inside of there, it got down to 52, and that's on the third day. I don't think it was down below the 60-degree mark for more than about 4 or 5 hours. I quickly got it back up to temperature, and I got the airlock. I got some more action in the airlock within about 4 or 5 hours. So I don't know, what kind of impact that's going to have on the final product. We'll see. I did dry hop it. I dry hopped it twice. I dry hopped it right after I had activity again in the airlock, and then I dry hopped it at 6 days. So it is loaded with hops. I mean, absolutely loaded with hops. Which is why we have so much trub. I couldn't do it on camera. It was just way too cold. I don't have any heat in my garage, so I was doing the best that I could. I'll shut the butterfly valve. Ooh. There we go. All right, let's see what happens. Yeah, well, got a little bit. It's pretty plugged up. I kind of figured that. Now I'm not gonna risk going in there and poking at it. So if I get any settling between now and the time that I keg it, great. If not, oh well, I'm gonna let it go. I don't wanna make things worse. Not sure what that means, to be honest with you. I'm still new to all this, but I got my reading, so I'll look into it. And it'll go for I'm gonna let it sit for another day, maybe 2, and then I'll keg it. It's been fermenting for the last week. The first week it was in the low 60s. I gradually took it up to the high 60s. So I think the last temperature was 69. That's where we ended at. I really appreciate you sticking around to watch the whole video. Check out these other videos over here. You may very well be interested in those also. The inspiration behind the videos is your feedback. And the best way to give me your feedback is to hit the like button down below. Most importantly, hit the subscribe button down below. And you can also leave comments. I can't wait to see you next time.